still remember the smell, that thick, rotting stench that drifted out from the woods behind his house. It wasn't just death. No, it was something older, like time itself had started to decay in there. They always said Plainfield was a quiet town, a safe town. But ever since that November night in 1957, we've lived with a shadow over us long and heavy, like a butcher's apron soaked in blood. His name was Ed Gein. He wasn't loud, didn't drink. Just that pale little man who fixed stuff around town. He dug graves too, but people just thought he was lonely. Who could have known what he was really doing out there? The night they found her, Bernice Worden, the hardware store lady, everything changed. The cops showed up at Ed's house, and when they came back out, they didn't speak. Not at first. One of them threw up right there in the snow. And from that moment on, we weren't a quiet town anymore. We were the town where the devil wore human skin. They say monsters are born in darkness. But Ed Gein, he was raised in it. His house was quiet. Not the normal kind of quiet. No radio, no laughter, no guests. Only the voice of his mother, Augusta, loud, angry, like the voice of God, if God hated women. Augusta Gein ran that house like a holy prison. She said women were the root of all sin. She called them whores if they smiled, damned if they danced. And poor little Ed, he believed her. I remember seeing him walk by my shop after school. Always clean, always quiet. Eyes down, like he was scared the ground would open and swallow him. His father was a drunk, useless thing. Died early. His older brother Henry tried to pull away, but he didn't last long either. Died in a brush fire, they said. But we always wondered, because Ed was the only one there when it happened. After Augusta died in 1945, that's when the house changed. It got darker, blacker, even in daylight. Curtains always closed. No mail, no phone. Some say he preserved her room exactly as she left it. Others say he slept beside her corpse until it rotted. But Ed still came to town sometimes. Polite, soft-spoken. He'd fix a fence, shovel snow, buy antifreeze or rat poison. Nobody thought twice, because he was Ed. Just odd Ed. But inside that skull of his, the rules were unraveling. No more Augusta to punish him. No voice to tell him what was right. Only silence. And in that silence, he began to hear other things. Dark things. And that's when the graves started opening. We used to leave our doors unlocked. That was Plainfield back then. No one feared anything more than the weather. But things started changing. Little things at first. Old Miss Hogan said someone stole her dead sister's jewelry from the grave. We laughed it off, kids maybe. But then graves kept getting disturbed, not robbed, not dug up all the way, just opened, like something wanted in, not out. Then Mary Hogan disappeared, ran a tavern just outside town, loud, sarcastic, smoked like a chimney. One night she was just gone. No signs of struggle, no blood, no note, just her purse left on the bar and a single bullet casing behind the counter. They questioned Ed, of course. He'd worked for her once, cleaned up behind the bar. He just smiled that crooked smile and said, "I don't know nothing. I sure hope she turns up, though." People whispered, "Sure, but we're not the kind to jump to conclusions." Then, in 1957, came Bernice Worden. It was the day of the deer hunt. Most of the men were out in the woods. Her son Frank was the town deputy. He came back to the hardware store around dusk. She was gone. Register was missing, blood on the floor. A receipt written in Ed's name. That's when the pieces clicked. They found Ed at his farmhouse that night, alone, calm. He didn't run, didn't fight. He just said, "Vanpum, I was expecting you." But no one, not Frank, not the sheriff, not even the boys from the county. No one was prepared for what they'd find inside that house, because Bernice Worden wasn't just missing anymore. She was waiting for them, hanging in the woodshed. I've seen dead deer gutted on cold mornings. I've smelled rot in the summer when a coyote drags something into the barn. But nothing prepared me for what they found in that house. The sheriff said it was cold, quiet, dust thick on the floor, the curtains drawn tight like the house was hiding from the world. But it wasn't empty. In the kitchen, they found Bernice Worden. She was hanging from the rafters, upside down, split open like game meat, gutted. Her head was missing, her torso cleaned and bleeding into a bucket below. And that was just the beginning. In the next room, they found bowls made from skulls, a lampshade stitched together from human skin, chairs with flesh stretched tight across the frame like canvas, a belt strung together with nipples. One of the deputies opened a drawer and screamed. Inside were 9 vulvas, dried and preserved. They found masks made of faces cut clean from corpses. Some with lipstick, one with glass eyes. And in the corner, under a dusty sheet, they found a full bodysuit stitched from a woman's skin. Breasts, belly, everything. He'd been trying to become her, his mother. He wanted to wear her, to become Augusta again. In the pantry, Mary Hogan's head, in a paper bag. Bernice's face, nailed to the wall like a trophy. And in a shoebox under the bed, his mother's tongue, still pink. When they arrested Ed, he didn't scream, didn't resist. He looked around at the horror that was his home and said, "It's not as bad as people make it out to be." Later, under questioning, he admitted to it all. But he said something else, something worse. He didn't kill all of them. Most of the bodies, he dug them up. Cemeteries, fresh graves. He'd sit at the obituaries, circling names. Women who reminded him of his mother. He'd sneak in at night with a shovel and take what he needed. A face, a breast, a vulva. Just pieces like a puzzle. He was making something. Or someone. They say evil wears many faces. Ed Gein wore all of them. But when they brought him in, he didn't look like a monster. He sat there, in that gray jumpsuit, hands folded, eyes soft. He answered questions like a schoolboy, polite, even helpful. He told the doctors he never had sex with the corpses. "They smell too bad, Suvar," he said. He talked about his mother with reverence, worship, even. To him, she wasn't just a woman. She was God. After she died, he said he felt empty. So he tried to bring her back, not with magic, not with prayer, but with flesh. They diagnosed him with schizophrenia, declared him legally insane. He never stood trial for murder. Instead, they locked him in Central State Hospital, where he spent the rest of his life. He died in 1984 at 77, buried in the same cemetery where he'd dug up his victims. They had to cement his grave because people kept stealing pieces of it. But Ed Gein never really died. His house burned down in 58. Some say it was arson. Others say the house killed itself, like it was too full of evil to keep standing. Still, he lived on, in stories, in film, in nightmares. Norman Bates, Psycho. The quiet man obsessed with his mother. Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The butcher with the human skin mask. Buffalo Bill, the silence of the lambs. The killer who wanted to become a woman. All of them were born from one man, Ed Gein. He wasn't a serial killer in the technical sense. Only 2 confirmed murders. But his legacy? Far worse. Because Ed Gein didn't just kill people. He unstitched the human form. He desecrated death. He made us question what lies beneath the surface of every small town. Every quiet neighbor. Every empty farmhouse. In the end, he wasn't a demon. He wasn't even special. He was a scared little boy who never left his mother's house. And maybe that's the most terrifying part.